Boston. Hold on. My eating my snack is more important than that city. I picked the Boston Tea Party painting as a thumbnail because instead of tea, maybe America should start throwing Caucasian women overboard. You know, the women that we have in our culture today are not the same. In 1963, a ship with U.S. troops was heading over to Egypt for war. The lower row of portholes, the men were leaning out the portholes while their brides were kissing them to say farewell. 1963, every one of those women were slender, long hair, and beautiful. And I note that. You didn't have that Cardi B culture going on back then. You didn't have that ghetto mentality back then. You didn't have plus size, BBW, fluffy, puffy, and downright piggy. In the 1960s in this country, a lot of normal looking women were just flat out beautiful because they were slender. They had a nice body, nice hair, nice face. Their countenance was so much different. And you look at what has happened to American women, it is a travesty. They say they're enlightened. They have their little catchphrases that men are scared. Men are scared of a confident, sexy woman, a smart, sexy woman. No, we're not. It's just that they don't exist. Not in this culture. There are some. They're usually married, usually well-adjusted females, but these, even in marriages, I think 50% of all marriages in the US are silently suffering excruciatingly on the man's part. I grew up in a culture that has put down men from grandma's house to auntie's house to television sitcoms to the mainstream media. I've grown up in a workplace that favors women all the time. Men get the short end of the stick. It's gotten so bad that in some locales, you even comment on Sally's dress and how nice it is, and you land in the office at HR, the boss, saying that Sally felt uncomfortable. And, it's funny. American women are attention, WHORES. They are all about that. And social media has given them the platform to be prima donna narcissists, whether they are sexy or not. You can see pictures of their dog. You can see pictures of what they made for lunch. You can see pictures of all their flaky, bric-a-brac, flim-flam, useless, worthless, superficial shit. How's that for a mouthful from Pacific? I love women, but I don't love women. I adore women, and I can't stand them. I don't like what has happened to Caucasian women in this country. It's a reality. This is not. There are YouTube video artists, Better Bachelor, who runs a successful YouTube show talking about this dynamic. This isn't something that I'm pulling out of my butt cheeks. Women today have an attitude. Women today are more immature now than they were in the 60s, 50s, 40s, 30s, 20s in American history. They are childish. They are not enlightened at all. They have bought into a bunch of systematic lies on every level. One lie is that they can do things better than men. No, they can't. Look at women in liberal politics. the radicalism of AOC, Ilhan Omar, Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden. Joe Biden's a class act, ain't she? The worst debate in the history of the United States, with Biden blundering, mumbling, stumbling, and bumbling. And Joe comes up to him like a mother would pick up her toddler at a daycare center and says, "Joe, you did a good job. You answered every question." Most American women are child-directed speech, tonal. Tonal language is everything, folks, and American women are good at it. They get away with it in the workplace. I can't tell you how many times I've walked into a business, haven't done a thing wrong, and you get some biatch at the front desk, Caucasian woman, has no social skills, really has no skills at all. Rude tone, demeaning posture. And my thought is, why are all these women so nasty? Because deep down inside, they believe that every single one of us wants to eat dinner at the Y. Honey, I don't want your smelly, pasty white, P-U-S-S-Y. I'm not interested. I prefer brown-skinned women myself. They have a lot more redeeming qualities than Caucasian women do in this country. They really do. Now, I'm not talking about all Caucasian women. Good Caucasian women are taken. I have a roommate who's a professional, and there is no romantic anything. She's a friend, rents at my place. One of the nicest Caucasian women I've ever met. Serves others, doesn't have that uppity attitude, wakes up every day pleasant. I have never in my life met a woman who wakes up every day pleasant. You got women with pouty pictures on Facebook, but because they're cute, men look past that. And I'm focusing on Boston because over the years I've heard stories. I've had friends. I have a friend currently who lives in Boston. I had a Caucasian friend from Boston, a female, who I had visited for 4 days when she lived in a town in Colorado, and she seemed really nice. But she dated guy after guy after guy after guy, and every single one of them, well, they were the problem, not her. Then she recently dated a handicapped guy, had to move in down there where she was in South Carolina, bought a really nice condo, quit her job, decided she wanted to leave, complained to me about this guy, about his habits, his things. I said, well, why do you keep going after these guys, man? Broke up, sent him on his way, sold her place. Months went by and she says, I think I'm going to go with him. I said, are you out of your mind? If it didn't work the first time, it ain't going to work the second time. And I was not rude to her. I entreated her as a friend. After our conversation, she had blocked me on social media, and I went into my phone and I said, well, guess what? Bye. No loss to me. She had been making dumb decisions. Now she's back in Boston. She dated the man. It fell apart a second time. Now she's in touch with a friend of mine that I actually acquainted the two. Her looks have gone straight down the proverbial potty. She looks like Rocky Dennis. She's only a few years older than me. And I look at women in America that are, I'm almost 60. And I'm aging. I can see it. I can see things happening. But these women that are much younger than me got saggy, baggy, gravity issues, and cellulite, light, loose, stubble under the arms, hair on the upper lip. And these are the ones that snubbed everybody when they were young and in their prime. And now they look at guys like us and go, oh, and I look at them and go, you didn't have time for me when you were good looking. I don't have time for you at all. You have nothing to offer me. You're a liability. You're an Amtrak off a cliff at the bottom of the Grand Canyon, even though there's no tracks over there, rolled down the Colorado River, covered over with a landslide. That is American women. And I've said this before, and I'll say it. American women, of the nature of what I'm speaking about, will not endure truth. They will find fault with me. They'll comment on the glasses, the chain, the sweatshirt, the hair. They will find all kinds of nasty, venomous, vitriolic things to say about. That's their default mode. It's like if you were in a car and you're in an emergency situation, you push a button and that would deliver you out of the situation. And women's default mode with dealing with men is analyze the hell out of them, find something wrong with them, and it discredits everything the man says. That's the American way. And it's worked really well. It's where, oh, that's why you're Republican, you're Christian. Okay, I don't have to listen to you. Women like labels. They like boxing things up in neat little boxes and sticking them on shelves. Women are extremely adept at marginalizing us, patronizing us, and reducing us to a cat box turd in a litter box. They're absolutely perfect at it. Boston is an interesting city. I've never been there. I've never had a desire to go there. The older I get, big cities hold about as much appeal to me as sniffing my own farts in the bathroom. You get the drift. I don't like Boston. I don't like Massachusetts. There's pretty places out in the country. And I wanted to move to New England years ago, but because their dominant makeup is liberal Democrat, part of me says, hell nah. But here I am in Georgia. It's red, it turned blue, and that's being driven by the ever booming African American population that has way more babies than white women do. And this is something that females don't realize. Do you know how you win the war in any place? White women stop making love and having babies with men. And all the ethnicities and people that hold ideals that are dangerous to this country reproduce like rabbits. Blacks, Hispanics, Muslims. And it's only a matter of time before the population of white people in the US is severely diminished. So what is up with Boston women? Allow me to share you a story. As you know, I took care of a property in Colorado and I knew the family. And since no names are mentioned in this video, I can talk about it. The husband and wife that I took care of the property for, I was constantly in and around their various family members scattered throughout the country. And she had a daughter that had two daughters, granddaughters. One turned out to be flaming lesbian, joined the military, the Marines, and I'm not a fan of that. I cannot get behind women wanting to be in macho men jobs. That turns me off. And one day, they owned a property next door that we all were involved in getting renovated for rental. And she introduced me to a brunette with green eyes, nice rack. She said, "This is my girlfriend," and French kissed her right in front of me. I thought, isn't that sick? She looks like a tomboy. She got a hotter woman than I would ever get in the US in the Caucasian sector. I dated women in Hong Kong that were Asian, that were miles ahead in their looks compared to here. No funky odors, no cellulite, no hair under the arms. Filipinas, Thai women, Chinese. I met some beautiful, beautiful, beautiful ladies that I was involved with on a physical and an emotional level. And the difference was night and day. They were the greatest lovers. They knew how to cook. They knew how to massage. They knew how to do basic household chores. And I say that because most women today don't cook. They don't. Not in this country. And when I lived in Hong Kong, my eyes were opened that there is really a problem with the women in this culture. I don't care where I am. I don't care where I go. It doesn't matter where I go in this country. You go into a room full of women, 99% of them are going to look at me as if though I'm nothing. Just me walking in there. Just certain women walking into the room, they have this air about them that they're just so damn important. If you want to shred that, just listen to the conversations they have with others. Superficial, flaky, skim milk. Sugar-free soda, the light stuff. And you will soon begin to see that there's nothing there. There's no substance. There's no depth. But the other granddaughter was not gifted with good looks. About my height. She was the proverbial pull your hair up in a big old wadded up bun with a hair tie. Walk around in your pajamas all day. She would come out from Boston. She was born and raised in Colorado. The Colorado women, I've talked about them. They're a mess, most of them. And when she would come to visit, she would not even speak to me. And I was taking care of the estate. Her own mother said, Pacific, we should probably be paying you. I said, no. I agreed to the terms that the family set to me, free rent. I take care of the property and look after things. But I went to her one day and I said, I need to talk to you. I know this sounds really petty, but your daughter comes out from Boston. She doesn't even say hello, doesn't greet me. I'm ignored. And I don't have an interest in her, but I just, it's very awkward. She said, yeah, I've actually noticed that and I'm going to address that. And she went to her and said, Mike is taking care of your grandma and it is causing a lot of stress release for this whole family. You better stop treating him the way you're treating him. She'd walk into that house as if though, here I am. And when I say plain Jane, she's not sexy. She's skinny. She had the Boston mentality. But is this unique to Boston only? No. This is all across. You can go to some boring town in Kansas and you got that mentality with the uppity women there. In fact, every time I met a woman from Kansas, it was not a pleasant experience. They really got a problem. And the phrase comes into view, legends in their own mind. Women, it doesn't matter who they are, they all seem to exemplify that. Why do I eat? Because women can do anything and get the views, get the likes, get the hearts, get the dates. They can have bad habits. So the friend I had that went back to Boston, she chose to end the relationship. I had always treated her with respect. I stayed in her loft in a smaller Colorado town for 4 days. We had no sex. We went on walks, made dinner together. I took her out to a restaurant. We had an enjoyable time. But while I was there, I saw some things that said, I like her. She's kind of cute, but I don't feel this is somebody I want to bed down with. As years went by, we kept in touch, and she dated guy after guy after guy after guy after guy. And to be fair, some of them sucked. But there seems to be a lot of that. Women will date men that suck. No, dude, they're close to them very soon in the relationship. And then things go bad, and then they go and tell all their female peers what a DICK he was. Never will you hear these same women admit, I was kind of dumb. I got involved and got in the heat of the moment instead of taking the time to get to know him. Dating sites, gentlemen, get off of those. Get off the dating sites. Plenty of Sharks, eHarmony, all those other silly dating sites. It's a meat market. It's a chance for women to sit there with their female friends. Oh my God, look at all these guys that think they get a date with me. You know what's sad is that God made these. Women did not invent or make these. God did. And a woman wakes up and starts getting budding nipples, and all of a sudden, I'm a high commodity. Excuse me, we're opening Wall Street with the highest bidder. 1963 photo. These were soldiers going to war. Not Brady of the Patriots. Not LeBron. Not some star, not some celeb, not Bill Gates. They didn't have the bank accounts. They were soldiers. And you ought to see the picture of the women kneeling down on the dock to kiss their boyfriend or husband's head, leaning out the porthole. Fascinating stuff. They're all beautiful. Today, if I want to date with a beautiful Caucasian woman, I don't qualify. These are a problem. This is a problem. This is a problem. But even though I'm a homeowner, among other things, they're not interested in me. If I go back to when this house was built in the 1950s, in this place that I'm in Georgia, women would have been like, oh my gosh, he has a job and he bought that house. That doesn't matter today. That doesn't matter. It does not matter. Women get off and get more power and more satisfaction on snubbing males. You can call it cock blocking, blue balling, or whatever you want to call it. When I worked as a school bus driver at Denver schools, there were women that would hit on me. I'd be filling out my time. Hi, Mike. Pat, paw, paw. I like your necklace. I like that. Well, thank you. And you talk to him and you start to believe the lie that, wow, this girl's kind of cute. She's been nice to me. Okay. Hey, you want my number? Give me a call if you ever want to go to a movie or go out to dinner. Just do something. Oh, okay. The very next day, domo arigato, Mr. Roboto, domo. They don't know you. They've been reprogrammed. They don't talk to you. They don't come around no more. What the hell did I do? Oh, I think you pushed you. I got pushed. Weeks and weeks, months and months of them flirty, touchy, compliment. And I finally say, women do that. I had to learn some hard lessons. There was a good-looking blondish woman that I posted a picture of my favorite truck, classic truck. Said, looking to go out with somebody, post your classic truck favorite. She messaged me right away. We went out to dinner that night. Dumb me, I took her to a nice restaurant. She said, "Oh, your profile, man, you're dead. You're on. It's a blah 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 blah." That very next day, she had told me that night, "Yeah, text me. We'll keep in touch." I said, "You have a good day." No response. Hours later, I text another text. "Hey, you doing okay?" And I got a text saying, "Wow, see, you already texting me too much." Man, I didn't text her 10 times, 15 times, 2 or 3 times over the course of hours. I mean, we went on a date and you would expect, and this is the game the Caucasian women play. And it dawned on me, Michael, wake up. She wanted a free dinner, not you. And that's the way they do this. They're not going to admit to you, hey, I just use you for dinner, dude. They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. I remember I went to a doctor's office to get some blood work done, and there was nobody in there. The front desk person, and then the lady, Jewish woman, she was good looking. And I had just come back from Asia, and she had the Star of David. I said, "Oh, you Jewish?" And she answered somewhat hesitantly, "Yeah, why?" I said, "That's cool. I see the Star of David." And she acted like she was shocked. I said, "No, no. I have a heart for the Jewish people. I'm not anti-Semitic." When she do blood draw, I rolled up my sleeve and, put the cuff on, and she leans into me, and she was well endowed. And my hand was on the table, and she shoved her breast right over and into my hand. And I thought, Gina, what the hell was that? I'm not going to ask a girl out on a date in a damn doctor's office. That's tacky. She was good looking, but I have seen stuff. There's a Hispanic woman at Denver school. She's very good looking. She changes her hair color and changes her hairstyle every week. She's destroyed her hair. It's frizzed, bizzed, and whizzed, and cheese whizzed. She's got a beautiful body. And there's a guy, an Irishman, who was not gifted with handsome, thinks he's a tough guy, definitely fighting Irish, but kind of a butthole. And he is hoping to eat dinner at her YMCA. Except she's into women. And when she dated a woman, she was a Hispanic woman that was tomboyish and definitely nothing feminine, nothing pretty. And I thought, man, she's hot. And that's what she chooses. She didn't want to date a guy, but she dates a woman that's acting like a guy. True story. When I first started there, she was very nice. I was asking directions how to get something. She goes, "Oh, I'll tell you." I thought, okay, she's cool. Then she started hanging out with a table of Hispanic women that were known for being hateful, childish, rude, starting drama, shit, whatever in the break room. And I was told, "I need you to drive this bus in the afternoons." I said, "Okay." I said, "Where's the route book?" Because they're supposed to, drivers are told you need to put it in the cubby hole in the terminal. She goes, "Oh, well, she has it." So I went to her and I said, "Hey, you got the route book?" "Oh, no, it's down on my bus. You can go get it." I said, "No, no." I said, "That's supposed to be in the cubby hole after morning and PM routes. Could you please go get it?" "No, I'm not going to go down there and get it." I said, "Well, that's your job." And she started ratcheting it up. I said, "Ma'am, that is your job. It is not my job to go find your bus and go get that. Could you go get it? That is your job requirement." "Boy!" She called me boy. Started yelling. And another woman whose face looked like melted candle wax, an ugly Hispanic woman that she was nasty, looked angry all the time and depressed. She pipes up, and another girl pipes up, all joining her like a bunch of hens in a hen house. I should have said, I'm not talking to any of you cats over here. That's her job requirement, and she needs to go get it. And I'm making a point here because it needs to be made. You're all entitled, and that ain't right. I promise you, if I left my route book in the bus and that girl needed it, she'd tell me, "Can you go get it?" You think that would go over well if I said, "Nope, you can go do it"? The black supervisor, I went to his office. I said, "Hey," he goes, "Mike, I heard all that." He says, "Can you just go get it? I know what that table's all about." And I said, "Can you address this?" He wouldn't do it. Women talk about discrimination and unfair equity and all this. Yeah, they're right about that. They're totally right, except the way they spin it back out their egg beaters or smoothie blender machine is not right. There's discrimination against males. Men get the short end of the stick. I would have loved the minute supervisor would have walked out and said, "Ma'am, can I see you for a minute?" Okay, you're in here. I'm assuming you're off the clock. I need you to go down to your bus and get that route book. And if you don't want to do that, you can just say goodbye to your afternoon routes and I'll write you up for insubordination and I'm going to make you learn a lesson today. Michael's right. You heard what everybody said. You return it every time after your runs. I knew my runs, so I left it in my cubby all the time. Didn't need to look at it anymore. But men won't do what they need to do in this culture. They bow to the vagina. And I'm not being crass. That's the truth. But let's go back to Rocky Dennis. There's nothing desirable about her. But watch this. There are still male pigs out there that will go after anything that has a slit between the two legs. I live in the deep, dirty South, as they call it. And I'm amazed at how many African American men have no taste. They go after the big girls, with armpits that big around, with stubble and chalky, chunked up deodorant stuck up in there. I'm just like, oh my gosh. And women get mad when I judge. They said, "Oh my gosh, you are so mean." Honey, I got that from you, except the difference between me and you is I've been judged so much. I kept being nice to American women, kept being nice, kept being a gentleman, hold the doors open. I remember Duluth, Minnesota years ago. Very liberal environs up there. Democrat. And they have a system of skywalks. They're 2 stories above the street and they connect the downtown low rises so that in wintertime you can walk all inside, heated. Kind of nice. And I loved it because I could cruise. You don't have to wait for walk lights. I could cruise 12, 15 blocks in record time. Pay my power bill, my gas bill, stop at the Holiday Mall, hit the health food store, hit the Hallmark shop to buy a card, and I'd go all the way to the Duluth Public Library. It was just like bonanza extravaganza for a guy like me that likes to power walk. And you grab a set of doors going into another building, and I'd hold it for good old, sweet, tender, passionate Minnesota Duluth women. I'm saying that tongue in cheek. Minnesota women tend to have absolutely no passion. They're stoic as hell. They're not sweet like Mary Tyler Moore. Of course, that was just a TV show, but would they say thank you? Nope. I owed it to them. I got so annoyed, I'd say, "You're welcome." It's funny when you do something that calls it out. I didn't yell, I didn't scream. I said, "You're welcome." Their head would spin around so fast, then they'd make eye contact with me and give me a dirty look. "Oh, you don't like that, huh, sweetie?" So I got so annoyed at this behavior, I'd fling the door open and carry on. Then you hear the gasp and the sigh. "Oh, you're mad because I didn't hold it open so you could snub me?" So Boston, it has come to my attention again and again and again The women there are awful. So awful. A friend of mine who does not live in the immediate Boston area, but lives in Massachusetts, told me what it was like growing up in Massachusetts. That women would tease him, women would make fun of him, and that women that were stuck up anyway would come over when he was with his friends and in front of my friend would say to them, "Man, it's so hard for me to find a real man." Let me tell you something, folks. Don't be fooled by it. I grew up with hearing women brag, "Oh, I would love to go to bed with Robert Redford." What was Robert Redford? An actor. Smoked, hairy, sweaty. I mean, women back then fawned over movie stars. John Wayne. But do women really want a man? That's a question. And the answer is absolutely categorically no. A real man would look a woman in the eye and tell the truth, not give her the compliment cruise ship, which is what they all want. I've seen the games with women. You tell them they're pretty. No, I'm not. Oh, is that why you got 10,000 pictures on your social media like this? If you really thought you were ugly, you would do like a lot of women who are obese. You'd have a dog in your profile picture, not you. All games, all the shit circus that women do. And I talk about this because in our culture, it'd be easier to get a date with same sex than it would be with the opposite sex. Now, before anybody says, "Oh, he's just mad because you can't get a date," let me say something. I can get a date. I haven't dated in 6 years. I had a couple women have an interest, and they were just game players. One was seeing a guy, living with the guy, rented out her house. She come over here and start coming. I said, "So what's going on with you and your redneck boyfriend?" "I'm not happy." So she starts pulling on to me, and I said, "Man, you got to make a decision, babe. Me or him. I'm not doing." And a lot of women are very comfortable with that. They want to make a field trip to the single guy, fuck around, and then they calibrate themselves and say, "Well, I decided I'm going to try to make it work with him." Was that really their intent? It was. Their intent was to go have a field trip to do some sexual stress relief. And never mind the fact they fucked over somebody else. I didn't have sex with her. She's good looking for her age. But women use men. They use the hell out of us. I'm in the South here, so I'm in a culture that is 53% black, 35% white. And the neighborhood I live in and the place I work at, there's not a lot of whites. In fact, my contact with white people is the lowest it's ever been in my almost 60 years. And the black culture has its own dynamics that are a headache to deal with. But in some ways, I like black women better than white women because I can tell them they like it when a man flirts. Even if they're not interested, I can tell, "Man, you look great." "Really? Thank you." You cannot compliment white women unless you're Tom Brady of the Patriots. See, women are weird in our culture. They only want certain people complimenting them, even though they're trolling and dressed in a way to provoke. I saw the skinny little petite twats that had an inch of tit meat in their two-piece bikinis sprawled out like a cat on the upper bench in the sauna at the Wheatridge Rec Center, full of attitude, thinking they're all that on a stick. older men would come in there and they would not even say anything, but they'd look. You'd see Toothpick get off the upper bench. Oh my God, men are such pigs. Well, babe, what did you expect? You leave nothing for the imagination and you come in here where there's men and women. What did you expect? Oh, these weren't the men you wanted to notice you. Calling older men perverts. Women are stupid on that. Men have a sex drive, and desire or attraction does not discriminate based on age. So if you're 70 years old and you got some cat walking in there like this, and that man's been alone because his wife died, you think he doesn't feel it? And you condemn him for having that. You got a woman in Boston area. She's been stuck up all her life and still is. She's immature. She hooked up with a guy. She likes to continually ride cocks. Doesn't date anybody. She just goes and gets some to get her relief. Her dressing style is typical of white American women. Got it at Ross, got it at Target. Polka dot outfits and stuff. And it's like, yeah, you're not cute. She's got a daughter that she's grooming her just to be like herself, that she had, not with a boyfriend, but a guy, she looked him right in the eye and said, I just want to have sex to get a child. That was 11 years ago. Now she's having financial trouble because she ran up her credit cards and everything. And she is looking for the guy that I believe is in California to go after him for child support. And the sad thing is that some judge will award it because women get the favorite status. If I was that guy, I'd get an attorney and say, she told me she wanted a kid. Judge is going to say, well, did you get that in writing? Did you have this legally documented? And it's funny, I could go be a sperm donor, get paid good money for it too. I wouldn't do it. I don't feel right about bringing a kid into the world that I have nothing to do with. I don't think that that's right. This woman is 50-something years old. She's little by little getting to the point of being washed up beach whale. She has an attitude. She has no husband. She thought she'd get to marry one of the Patriots football players, but she was too dumb to realize that their income far exceeds anything she will ever make in her life. And they're not going to go after some ding dong like herself. They're going to go after a trophy woman. Tom Brady went out, what was it? Peru, South America to get his wife. And guess what? That's blown up. She's pissed at him. Football players don't make good husbands. Stars don't make good wives or husbands. And I've already taken a shot at female pop celeb culture. Look at Cardi B. Good example for young girls, huh? Singing about her wet YMCA. And it's sick. And these women think that they're all that. Cardi B, we need to focus on the discrepancy. The major dichotomy of polar shiftal opposite women. Cardi promotes foul, sexual, graphic, not music, just trash. She's made millions of dollars on that. That's another thing wrong with the U.S. in general is that people pay for this garbage. But she got angry at a TV show called Peppa the Pig. You know, cute little kids show. Way more appropriate than anything Cardi B models. And she says, I'm sick of this show. It's encouraging my daughter to stomp in rain puddles and I buy expensive designer clothes for her. Typical GHETTO black woman who thinks she has values when she promotes licentious disgust, getting angry at a kid's cartoon where kids' normal thing is to splash in rain puddles and mud puddles. That's damnable to her. Singing about your dripping wet YMCA, she has no conscience. And you got these black girls with the lips pursed out with the attitude, or as they used to say, batitude. They're not growing up to be ladies anymore. Look at how many African American women fight. Even at my age, they're ready to throw down. Ladylike? No. No, 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 no. So you got this ding dong in Massachusetts who's backed herself into her own stupid choice corner. She's not desirable. And ironically, my friend bought a place that is not that far from her. And it angers him the way she is. Me personally, I can't move into an area where there's people I know that cause my blood to boil. Especially if I was as comfortably retired as him, I would have moved far the fook away from all of that. Instead of move to Georgia, not too many people want to come down here. I don't have anybody in my past close to me within a walking distance of my place. When I left my folks, I left Arizona and went all the way to Duluth. When I got mad at the U.S., I went all the way to Hong Kong. And turnabout is fair play. As many of you know, I chased a Filipino over there and I was caught up in all that yellow fever that I had. Asian women are beautiful. But there's an old saying, people are basically the same wherever you go. And that is the truth, folks. I no longer push people to go and marry Filipinas. They have their own immaturity. And it took me years to see it. They're hooked on social media. They're hooked on narcissism. TikTok, Reels by Facebook. Now you got millions of Filipinas getting on there, showing off their little tiny dainty bodies. Subscribe to me. Follow me. All these men, like a railroad locomotive pulling a mile-long line of cars. And we men have submitted to that foolishness. She has no interest in any of them. She wants the money. She wants the hearts and the likes. That's it. I talk about prettiest kitty cat. I finally started blocking all these things. They come in my feed and I'm like, man, block. The girls can be pretty, but when you see how narcissistic they are, it's all about me. At some point, you start to go, you know what? This is just a taste of bile in my mouth. I don't want to see this. Women now can provide virtual entertainment. They're not showing anything. They're skimpy little outfits with micro bikinis, but they're not going to show anything. And they're tantalizing and parading around and got lonely men all across the world, and especially here, can never get a date with that. And if they want to see more, they can send her money, and then she might. I want to be loved by you. That's it. It is absolutely disgusting. We live in a virtual world now. AI is starting to take over. Men are left with fantasy. The reality is, most men are not going to get a date with the pretty kitty. The Bible says it is not good for man to be alone, but there's a lot of men that are alone. And you go to church and you listen to the foolishness that is enunciated from the pulpit. Wait on God, wait on God, wait on God. Is it really that simple? Is God sovereign? He is. But does he allow free will to be set in motion in the human heart? He does. Now, God leads and God guides. Let me make that very clear. But this idea that he brings a woman, oh, he might, then he might not. I'm not so sure I know the mind of God on that. But I do know one thing that I can say to American women. If you think that the majority of you embody Christian virtue, ladylikeness and femininity and a right attitude, you are dead smoking wrong. Women have no conscience anymore. They lie, they cheat, they steal, they do whatever they want. No remorse. There's no consequences for their actions. I look at abortion, 61 million babies killed just in the US alone by self-centered women. It's my body. No, it isn't your body. God brought you into the world and God can take you out of it. Not what we tell our kids. Boston women, most women in the US anywhere are a problem, but Boston gets first place in women being absolutely undesirable on any level. This woman from Colorado became a graphic artist designer, basically like playing with adult crayons and felt markers, okay, but on a computer. She's making triple digit income, or 6-digit figure income, to design shit for some company. She's got a swelled head. She is not sexually beautiful, but a guy chased her. Now they're married. Now that I wonder how long that's going to last before he gets a wake up and smell the coffee moment with that. Why anybody would want to marry a Democrat feminist makes no sense to me. I've seen some plain Jane women that are beautiful until they open their mouth and you see the crappy attitudes they have. Boston women suck. They will not listen to truth. You cannot get through to them. And it's not just Boston. It's across the US. I'm almost 60. I've done better than Ding Dong. Ding Dong could not do what I do. And Ding Dong has this mentality that no man is worthy of her. No, honey, you're not worthy of me. You're a home wrecker. You're a credit wrecker. And I guarantee you that you're not a good mom. You're raising that daughter to be a little narcissist brat and pass that baton of shitville right on down the line. Pacific has something a lot of women in this Western world do not have. And that's God is my father. He gives me the strength to go to a menial job. He gives me the strength, even with low pay, to save and to get ahead. Women blow the money out the back door so fast. $150 a month for Comcast, cable bills. Got to have that $7 coffee. It's no longer $5, it's $7. Starbucks is nothing but a damn racket. There's no nutritional value to that crap in a cup. And people are addicted to this crap. Just like soda pop, just pure garbage. Not good for the body. And I told my friend, I said, you got to get a hobby. You got to get something you love. And I am no way saying this to shame him because the anger is real with a lot of us men. I have a house to remodel. I got a job to go to. Now I have a roommate that helps deflect some of that crap that I deal with as a lone person. And the older I get, I'm starting to realize I actually am free by not having a girlfriend. I don't have to worry about what clothes I wear, how I look, how much to spend on her. All that stuff is eliminated. I was at work the other day and a big, heavy black woman, lip curled all the way out, attitude with the wig, the nails, slamming the ice maker door real hard. I thought, how'd you like that heifer in your house? Banging you strip down some antique doors, and can you imagine how fast she'd wreck your house? I say this because there are men that want to fuck that. I was in a house the other day. I hesitated saying this because I like the person. I am in no way shit shaming this person. Got a house built near the turn of the century. She gets paid more than I do, gets overtime, everything. The house was willed to her by her deceased mom. She wanted me to replace the drywall around the shower. I cannot convey to my viewers what the inside of that house was like. It was cool. It had the old beadboard mold, or what we would call wainscoting, on some of the ceilings. 12-foot ceilings, an original small chandelier with the glass, the crystals hanging from it. I said, that's worth some money. You got to shine that thing up. The roof has been leaking and has done damage all over the place. There's a section in the bathroom where the two walls, here's the shower head, you go up to the top of the wall, and there's a hole that big, and I can see sunlight, and the hot Georgia humid heat is just blasting through that hall into the bathroom. I said, you got to do something about this. You need to replace that roof and all the soffits and the fascia and everything. And when I'm walking across the bathroom floor, those homes were built solid. The bathroom floor, and I backed up and I wiggled. She goes, yeah, there's a soft spot. I said, man, you better have somebody inspect under there. Make sure you don't got termites eating out all the supports. And the thing is, if you have a crawl space in the South, you need to cover up the ground with plastic, seal the ground off, and insulate it. If you don't, the humidity will eat your wood right out from under your home. The South is extremely destructive to wood. You cannot have untreated, unfinished wood. You have to paint it. I looked at it. She had the shower panel. She goes, there's nothing back there. I said, but are there studs back there? Oh, yeah, there's studs. I said, well, man, I said, you need to gut this whole bathroom. She goes, I can't. I don't know how many people she got living in there, but a lot. Stuff everywhere, a mess. Flooring damaged, one room, stuff hanging out of the ceiling, and the paneling exposed to so much humidity is peeling and splaying like onion skin. And people are living in these rooms watching TV, and I'm like, how do people live like this? I see a lot of that down here in the dirty South. People say, Mike, you shouldn't say that. It's poverty. She earns more than I do. The house is paid for. And I've already proven to people, I have a friend in New England says, I don't know how you make it on your income. My hat is off to you. And I said, cut out the fat. One credit card, pay the full balance every month. Don't buy Starbucks. Don't buy cable TV. Don't get this and that. Corporate America is not interested in you saving money and getting ahead. They're interested in you emptying your wallet out into their cash register. Look at cars and trucks. They're garbage today. Garbage. You can buy these new Ford Broncos. You know what that looks like? A middle class pussy vehicle for silly little businessmen that don't physically work hard and they can drive around thinking they're God behind this plastic lined with tin. I've been looking at deuce and halves. I called a guy the other day and there was a manifold bunch of problems. One of them was the brakes were leaking. I said, well, he goes, it's an easy fix. I said, well, but where you're located, I have to drive to town. If you get that thing fixed where it doesn't leak, give me a call. And these people are too late. Oh, it only take me 15 minutes. Well, if you want to sell it, do it. Well, one tire isn't keeping air long and held the tires. They're original from 1970. Aren't they weather checked? Nah, I'm going to pass. You give me that truck for $1,000, okay. You're talking about $3,000 or $4,000 and 10 new rubber tires for that. Yeah, it's amazing how people live and think. I wouldn't buy any of these new pickups. I'd rather buy an old deuce and half for less the price. Have a real truck with real solid steel, no airbags, no leather, no defrost lines in the back window. I want a damn truck. And we look at this eye candy crap, shellacked crap at a car lot. You know, car salesmen haven't changed in the last 50 years. They're still selling crap. They love to get you signed into a loan and financing. That's how the dealership makes money. And I tell Americans, you want to make money? Stop paying these people. Stop getting a loan on a car. Stop getting a loan and a mortgage for a house. You're paying $20,000, $30,000 in interest on that because you have to have it now. They won't do what I do. Save, discipline, then go buy a fixer-upper, pay cash for it, and you're not in debt. Boston women would not be interested in me. They would not live in this place. And that's fine. When you finally wake up and get off the highway of trying to find a lover, and you pull off in the rest stop, you got a better view of things. You want these women? They're just going to take you for a ride. You got to cater to them and their selfishness. Even Apostle Paul says, seek not to be married, for then you must be concerned with your spouse. She's after the things of this world. Notice he makes that comment about the women. And if you're married, seek not to be loosed. The human condition. Wherever we are, we want to be on the other side of the fence. When we're single, we want to be married or dating. When we're married, we want to be free from it. The bipolar behavior of us humans. Having a roommate that I'm not fucking, kissing, a friend, is liberating. And I'm sorry, folks, things aren't getting better. 1963 photograph. You will not find women like that today. Pretty, petite, long hair, sweet looking. Not ashamed to be dating a soldier. Now women today, a soldier, they don't make no money. No, they're just fighting for your freedom, dumbass. The innate immaturity of women saying, I don't need a man. Ding dong in Massachusetts. Using a man, his semen, to get a girl. 11 years later, she wants to punish him because of her own foolish spending debt habits. And there are women or men that think that she's hot. Yeah, man, you want to be married to that? You'd be raising a little kid who father's not in the picture. And I feel for this man. Somewhere in California, manager or something, is about to get a bomb dropped on him. He'll have to pay all that back child support. I'd love to be a judge. I'd say, so let me get this straight. I'd pull her into court and say, did you not tell him that you just wanted a child and there was no, that was it? Of course, she'll lie. I'd say, no, I'm not awarding this. 11 years have gone by. No, I'm not doing this to this gentleman. It's pretty obvious what you got going on here. And let's pull up the news story that you wanted attention. You wanted attention. You went to the news saying you're adopting a girl. Let's bring that into court. Let's bring that into court. Somewhere in the archives, they've got it. They spelled the name wrong. Women like that are as shallow as an empty shell casing. The American landscape is littered with rusting freighters. The propellers turn no more. There's no crew that walk the decks. They're waiting to be scrapped. That's what we got with the majority of women today. But if you talk to these women, they think that they're the modern cruise liner. They don't see the reality of what they are. They don't see the reality of what they're not. And they're busy analyzing and diagnosing men as if though they're medical expertise, and they're not. Judging us, condemning us, laughing at us, mocking us. And men have finally had enough. Thanks to the internet, men were able to fight back. Women got angry when men started going overseas. So they made their dumb comments. Oh, they're just going after little whores that they can slap around. Proof that American women don't know a damn thing about overseas women. You don't slap around overseas women, they'll kick you in the butt. You know, it's funny. I lived in Hong Kong, and a Chinese woman that worked down in the damn working district, and I'm not talking prostitution, but, you know, slinging freight and stuff. They could beat up 99% of American Caucasian women without even trying, with one hand tied. I remember a lady that lived down below the flat I was renting. She was a beautiful Chinese woman. Her and her husband ran a janitorial supply store. She'd be slinging the boxes while he's sitting there running the damn adding machine. But look at that. The woman's working harder than the man here. She was so nice to me every time. One day I came down the alley, which is the way to my flat, and this box came flying out of the front. I just about stepped in front of the open, they had those roll-up doors. And I hear her go, wah! I peek around. I said, hiya! Oh, I'm sorry. And I started laughing so hard. She was a character, solid muscle. That's a sexy woman. She was totally lady, but she was strong as an ox. I said, oh, that's too bad she's married. I'd go after her right now. These women today are high maintenance. They're flim-flammy. They got tits like marshmallows that go like this. Or you got the gym Nazi girls, which really they're checking out other girls' booties in the locker room. It's just stupid anymore. You're not getting a quality woman with most of these women in these shores. You're not. You're getting a complete liability, a diminishing asset. And they all got this attitude. They're all exactly cookie cutter. And I say this all the time. Women say, you don't know me. Oh, but I do, honey. You're just like all these other fluties. Fluties. Fluty. Flakes. Superficial. Using child-directed speech, thinking because you went to college, you're automatically smarter than everybody around you. That's immaturity. That's not educated. Most of college today is nothing but brainwash, Marxism, evolution, humanitarian bullshit. And you got a graphic artist designer pushing a mouse around all day, making 6-digit figures, comes back to Denver, walks in the house. I'm here. I smelled some BO on her one day and I almost said something. I came that close to saying, you know, babe, deodorant and baths work real good. And some sorry schlup in Massachusetts salivated all over that. Ugh. I do not keep in touch with the family. There was so much problems down there that I did my 7 years and I moved on. Two girls, one in the Marines, lesbian, shreds relationships. Girl after girl, that pretty green-eyed brunette with the nice rack on her. They're not seeing each other. And I remember a Native American girl in the sauna who had an attitude. She was sitting in there complaining one day, well, I'm not into men. I date women. And then she admitted to me, she said, yeah. I said, so you're able to get dates? She goes, no. Women are telling me I don't make enough money. I said, yeah, isn't that fun? I said, that's what they've been doing to us. I said, so now you know how it feels. She gave me a dirty look. What the fuck? You think you can just, because you're a girl, you can just go sit on the couch and bump clams all day and she's supposed to take care of you? Women want men to take care of them and women want women to take care of them. I thought it was funny that she's being sized up the same way we men have been sized up. Even among lesbian women, they're going, no, you got to be making your money, baby. Then she overheard something I had said to the other guys. She goes, well, I don't always shave my armpits and people need to accept that. I said, well, it's not a matter of accepting. It's just gross. Okay, if you want to do that, be my guest, but that's unattractive. Disgusting is what it is. And you see that with the black community. So many girls don't know what the hell a razor is. But they'll spend $300 on their damn hair and nails. We're not even going to talk about the black community. They got more problems than you could fit on the Titanic. And the sad thing is that's a whole other cultural dynamic that is not good. I think if I found a black woman that was not a Democrat, was a hard worker and slender and had a humble attitude, you got a gold mine in that woman. A lot of black women still cook. A lot of black women will massage their men's backs. A lot of black women want faithfulness. That's some of the high points. You can be honest with a black woman. You can tell it like it is. You can't do that with most white women. Cannot. And so here we are. It's 2024. And things aren't getting any better. And to all my male friends out there that We all get there. We get angry and stuff. And you got somebody living within spitting distance of your place. Go pursue something you love and get your mind off of that. Those girls are never going to change. We need to have nothing to do with them. And if they get up in our face, we need to turn around and be a man and say, get the fuck away from me. Unless it has to do with work or the job, don't talk to me. There's a woman at work. She is obese. She is not pretty. She's bombast. She's black. She thinks she's all that on a stick. I don't speak to her. I was upstairs getting parts for the job I was doing. Hey, Mr. Nelson. Hey. Why are you even saying hi to me? I know the shit you say behind my back. Why do women play that dumb little game? Because they hate it. Even when they don't like you, when you will not acknowledge them. See, women want us to treat them like they're some sort of deity. Even if they don't like us, we need to grovel and bow before their throne. Ignore them. Don't look at them. Don't talk to them. Move around them. Don't entertain them. I was in the offices, or the employee lounge for the office staff with some of the guys I work with. They were feeding us lunch as a courtesy or breakfast. Man, I saw her walk in. I got up from the table, pushed the chair in, and said, bye, Felicia. I won't even sit in a room when a person like that walks in. I will get up and leave. And my coworkers are starting to finally realize Mike's not being so friendly anymore. No, I don't have to. I'm here to work, not play girl games. I don't want to talk to you. There's no benefit in it. And the sad thing is women and men in the workplace is not a good idea. Men should be able to have a place to go to get away from them damn hens. Where I work, there's so much flirting and affairs. One guy bragged he's been through almost every female in the place. And he's married to a woman from Jamaica. And some of the pictures that he has in his phone of the various women he slept with that he showed me, none of them were pretty. And there's a married woman that eats out of his hand every day while pretending to be faithful to her husband. And all these black guys think she's hot stuff. And I look at her, she's probably around 4 feet tall. She's a chunkette. And I'm going, they really have different tastes down here because it don't float my boat. Men are sad. Whether they're black women or white women, we're the ones that exalted them and put them on a pedestal. You got ugly black women, ugly white women now that they got an attitude because men chased and pursued and filled their little head with sweet nothings. That's why you'll never get a reality check on women in this culture. They're driven by their feelings, and that is it. I no longer say emotionally driven logic because that's not right. They're emotionally driven thinkers. They're not using logic. They're using feelings, nothing more than feelings. You have to have something to go to. There was a guy years ago that got so angry. He wrote in his journal about the way women were snubbing him, and he finally let it boil to the point where he showed up at a gym and shot a bunch of women. And of course, the news story run by a woman was about this disturbed, deranged male. Women have no idea, nor do they care, nor do they investigate or look into the antagonism that caused all of this to happen. But to the men, I say, don't let yourself be like that man. Don't be consumed by that ding dong down the street. As a friend, I have to say something when I see something. You've got Just stop talking about it. We have got to stop talking about it. Find something you love and have nothing to do with that shit anymore. You're not going to get a date. You know you're not. You're bitter about it. She's never going to change. I'm guilty of giving too much rental space in Pacific's head over shit that I can't control. That is a deficit of most of us. That girl gets up every day not even thinking about your sorry ass. She lives in her world of narcissism. Let her spin like a top over there. Don't grind in your own mind on your own time about a woman who has no idea what's going through your own head. Let it go. It's tough when you're a man. We have needs. Sex is a need. I've heard preachers say it's not a need. That is a lie. Sex is a biological outflow of the way God created us. There are some men that can take a vow of abstinence, celibacy, but they're very few. Paul says it's better to marry than to burn with passion, but in the US, we got all of us burning with passion, but there's no one to marry. Not unless you settle for something that would ultimately go down in flames. There's plenty of heavy women that would take you. No thanks. And we all fail to realize those looks are going to fade. The tits are going to sag. The wrinkles. I have made too much about looks. They're fading, folks. I'm seeing it happen to me. The body's starting to turn little by little. We need to remember that song. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to uproot, a time to plant, a time for war, a time for peace, time for love, a time for hate, a time to be young, and a time to grow old. Are we going to go to our grave rueing the fact that American women snubbed us? Sit back and watch what happens when a country's invaded and all these little gem Nazis and these little stuck up, self centered women suddenly are an abject terror. They'll be grabbing onto any man around saying, "Save me." Just because it hasn't happened, there's a season, and America's been in it a long time, but it's not going to go on forever. I've been saying on social media and here, America's not in the Bible. There's some things brewing. China was flexing their muscle at the Spratly Islands, and one of the shoals that the Philippines claims it's theirs. China doesn't own it, but they're claiming it's theirs, and they're down there flexing their muscle. China's an asshole. They're expansionists, and they are trying to dominate the world. Russia's doing the same thing. And Russia's being buddies with Kim Jong-un in North Korea and Xi Jinping. That's a satanic trinity right there, folks. And the Philippines could never stand up to Russia or China at all. Now, I'm not saying that the Filipino men aren't good fighting men, but they don't have the weaponry. And they're dismantling some short-range missiles or something. Beijing was pissed when the U.S. put them in. Philippines said they're going to dismantle them and send them back to us. I don't know if that's a wise approach. Women in America get away with this because they live in an alternate universe. They don't see what's going on out there. They don't see a storms brewing on the Pacific and the Atlantic and the Black Sea. They don't see that the world is getting restless, that people are feeling the need to dominate, and feminism isn't going to be queen. It's men right now that are saber rattling and stuff. And all those feminist women, they think they're entitled now. The day could come when they'll become political slaves, prison slaves in a war, sexual slaves for the man's own choosing. And you think you're going to have rights when another country comes in and kicks our ass? Women in this country get away with it because we're a comfort nation. We're a nation that's gotten soft and comfortable. And women become petty and immature and materialistic and juvenile. And men, dumb, sad men, pursue those kinds of women thinking, oh, she's hot. She has absolutely nothing except that thing between her legs, folks. Nothing. You don't want a woman like when I was growing up who wants a Robert Redford. You don't want a woman today that wants a Patriots ball player. So what? They can play football. How long is Taylor Swift and her boyfriend on the Kansas City Chiefs going to make it? How long? We knew they were going to win that game. I believe football is rigged. People that don't believe it is got their head stuck up their ass. It's rigged just like WWE. The people that throw the most money at something, the other team is going to lose. That's my belief. But people like fantasy. They like fantasy football, fantasy wrestling. They like fantasy cars and SUVs. The SUVs aren't tough. They show some cocky looking businessman with a hand draped over his car named after a tree, splashing pedestrians on the street thinking he's such a man. You think that guy could start a deuce and half and shift that baby? Do you think that man could steer that thing with no power steering and those big front tires? They couldn't. I love the illusion that we've been given in this country that men are men, they're pussies today. Go back to old truck drivers before they had power steering. Go back before they had gas-powered lawnmowers and you had the two wheels and those blades that spun around. I did that for 1 year in Minnesota. I loved it. It was an absolute thrill. If they were sharpened, they got a cut, man. And you see the grass flying. It was good. It kept my physique. You drive. Everybody's looking at me like, what kind of a fool's using one of those? America's become a nation of babies. We see a baby toy dangling from something. That's SUVs. That's Starbucks. That's all this crap that's just sucking your money away. And most Americans don't have capital. They have an illusion because they're in debt. I had a coworker tell me that you got your thermostat set at 68. Oh, there's no way in hell I'd do it. I said, so how much is your bill when you put it up to 75? Like $300-400. I said, who's paying for that? My husband. Oh, see, it's okay when everybody else is slighted. Women are not nice, folks. And then she wants that dumb SUV. There is no value in that piece of shit. It's overpriced the minute it came out of the factory. It's made with parts that fail on purpose. People are buying the classic shit, and now they're selling Mustangs for $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. A 60 Chevy pickup for $45,000. We were throwing that shit away when I was in high school. You could buy a 60 Chevy truck for $1,500. Now, no engine, no motor, but the body's okay. They want $7,000. We're stupid that way. Stupid. We didn't realize the good we had. We didn't keep it going. We had to have new, and the new is full of junk. Computers, plastic, garbage, airbags. I love when they call something side impact beams. Have you seen those beams? They're a piece of tin. When a semi truck hits it, there's no beam. It's pash, like a pop can. America is dumb. They believe lies. The media tells them all day long, and dumb people listen to CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, PBS, NPR, thinking they're getting the truth. American women go to college and get a degree, and their head is exploding so big it's a wonder they can get through a doorway of the Marxism, the atheistic evolution, and all the shit that they were indoctrinated into. And because they got that toilet paper degree, they can make 100,000 years as a graphics artist, even though they took nothing to do with graphic arts. Shit, the computer will do it for yourself. Boston women, waste of time. Stuck up, mostly Democrat. And again, Democrats are the party of compassion. Remember that. That's what they claim. They live in the most expensive pieces of real estate and cities and strongholds out there. Michael could not afford to move and live and rent in Boston. There's no way. I don't want to live in Boston. It's a shithole. My opinion. People love to crowd up in the cities. I don't. I like wide open spaces and the wind in my hair, and I like my freedom. But the women in Boston never grew up. They still have a high school mentality. Most women in the U.S. have a high school or a middle school mentality. You go to small town America and you get the cheerleader who was hot to trot back in high school. Now she's 300 pounds being the manager at Dairy Queen with an attitude still. Snarky to the customers, gets away with it because somebody somewhere fucked her once. I tell you what, I've been in those towns. I've seen those kind. They didn't grow up, and they still think they're all that on a stick. If you can move all the flesh out of the way, you might be able to find the why, if that's what you're after. And I'm not going to apologize for my harsh assessment of women. Women trained me to be very judgmental. They were nasty to me. They were bullies. They were mean. I remember Tracy Glover. She was a cheerleader, or, the football players all thought she was hot. When she got 2 inches of tit meat, she'd come up and do that. Not because she was interested in me. She did it to embarrass me and laugh. And there was Annie, who was flat-chested, her and her ugly sister, and she unzipped her sweat jacket. She had nothing yet, but she, I was a kid, so of course I was embarrassed. Girls made fun of me bad. When I started dating a girl, her last name was Kerr, and they called her polyester because she wore a lot of polyester. She was actually cute in middle school. She was cute, curly, long black hair. She was adorable. Unfortunately, she grew as large as her mother. But they made fun of her because she didn't dress like the other girls. They made fun of her because she and I had an interest in each other. The girls were mean to other girls. Christy was nice. She wasn't like the other girls. American women don't like nice girls or nice men. They shred them. They're jaded. They're calloused. They're hostile. Look at music. Look at the direction that female music's taken. Look at Taylor Swift. Her rise to claim to fame was singing about all the boyfriends that she cock-rode. Oh, her poor broken heart. Never mind the men. Taylor Swift is not a fucking catch, folks. Cardi B is not a catch, folks. Look at Oprah Winfrey, a billionaire. 8 mansions isn't enough. How much food does she continually eat? How about Whoopi Goldberg? Millions of dollars isn't enough. She looks like Jabba the Hutt. We never look at the end game when we look at women, do we? How'd it be like to be locked into somebody like that? And you become rich and suddenly you're faced with a dilemma. Oh my gosh, if I leave her, she's going to clean me out. Men, you better pick your poison wisely. Single or date? Single will get you in a lot less trouble, cost you a lot less, and you can think. I wouldn't give 10 cents for a Boston woman, but I wouldn't give 10 cents for most American women. Are the Filipino women any better? Are the Thai women? No, look at Facebook with the Thai women and their margaronas and they're standing in front of a car they don't own and they want to be wined and dined and fine tuned or no date. It's a ghost town out there, folks. This isn't my opinion. This is a fact. And what kind of men do women choose if they choose? Filthy rich or thugs or felons? The bulk of us men that are hardworking and treat people right, we're not desirable by them. So stop ruing and lamenting that they're not interested. You want to be around somebody who's attracted to a felon? I'm not talking Donald Trump. That's a bunch of bullshit, all that. Democrats hate him so bad, they're trying to throw everything at him. And notice the vitriol that the women come after him. Joy Behar, Joy Reid, neither one of them are pretty women. Oprah Winfrey, Whoopi Goldberg, none of these liberal women are pretty. They're big, they're ugly, and they talk as if though they're expertise, authority, and journalists. You can't get through these kind of women. And if you ever notice, those kind of women don't surround themselves with people like me or women that will be objective and look them in the eye and say, Katie, you're wrong. Jamie, you're wrong. They won't do it. They won't do it. They'll surround themselves with people that are their fans. I've done some experiments on social media. I asked some of these little diva queens and said, so you trying to find a husband or get married? What are you doing with this? They won't answer. I said, why do you just tease men but nobody can have you? I got one, Helen Stream, a Mexican woman with puffy nipples, and she loves to show those through the shirt all the time. I said, why do you tease all this men? But of course, you're not going to date anyone. Should I get on here and complain about men? I said, I'm not complaining about women. I'm complaining about you. What's your end game in this? Are you just teasing people to get attention? She won't answer the question. Yes, that is what they're doing. They don't want to put out. They don't want to have sex with you. They don't want a relationship with you. They just want to be worshipped. Social media is an altar for self-centered women. They can be self-proclaimed deities there now. And they can't get enough of it. It's a hole that will never, ever, ever be filled. And God forbid the day come when they age and nobody's looking anymore. At least Pacific has something. It's called content. It's called substance. It's called deeper thinking. If you're going to live your whole life to do this stuff, that's a short game, ladies. And nobody cares about this. Nobody cares about this, but you're too stupid to get that. And they need to change that song. They sung it to the men, but it needs to be sung to the woman. You're so vain, thinking that this song is about you. You're so vain. What was that, Carly Simon? You can't get through to these women. They have to crash and burn. And even when they crash and burn, like in the case of Ding Dong, got what, 20, 30,000 in credit card debt, perhaps? Now we're going to go after a man and find somebody to use as a scapegoat and blame it on. This man has no idea what's coming. Isn't that sad? Be careful who you entangle with. Be very careful about entangling with white women. They will get revenge. They will get revenge. Put your dick in your pants and zip it up before you get involved with them, because you get fucked in the end. I'm telling you. And I'm getting older now. I can't afford to get involved with a woman who's going to clean me out. Cannot. Too late for those kind of games. Use your head, not the one between your legs, men. This is Specific signing off.